Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Megatron. Yes, Leader Class Megatron. I got him. He's here. I ordered him from CMD Store. They got their stock in this week, I guess, and they shipped them. And people in Canada have been finding them early, which seems to be a common thing. I don't know what it is with Canadian Walmarts and stocking things early, but they sure do it. And here is Megatron. God, he's perfect. Look at him. This is glorious looking in the robot mode. I'm not going to lie to you. There is one nitpick I have, and it is one, and that's it. This. The cannon here, it's sitting a little too high. The barrel should be a little more long, and this should be kind of connected. Basically, this circular area here should be down here and not here. That's the main thing. Essentially, though, he looks really, really good in his robot mode. Lots of nice paint apps. He does have a bit of red on the arms, a bit on the side, bit of blue, bit of red there, bit of yellow. Decepticon badge looks great. And he has this kind of sand blue kind of legs, which was kind of controversial because people weren't really sure what to make of it. People kind of thought it should be this color, which I will make you aware is a marbled plastic, which is a little bit scary. Marble doesn't hold up the best sometimes, so that's something to maybe watch. The cannon is also made out of it, and so is a good chunk of the legs down there. But the size of this guy is actually intriguing, so we're going to get in Prime here, Commander Prime, and he's taller, like a good bit, actually. Like, there's a height difference, and it's very noticeable. It's a very noticeable height difference. It's pretty good, though, all honesty. And just to compare it to a regular Voyager, because I know this guy's going to get called small for the box, which I will show here in a second. There he is next to Voyager Soundwave from Siege, who is yellowed. Look at that left knee. It's gray. That's like a green-gray. It would be fine if that knee wasn't that, honestly. Also, this little thing up here in his shoulder didn't either, but the other one did. That's a minor inconvenience, though. But that is that, and, well, he does have a heap of accessories, to say the least. He has 4, technically. First off is the cannon. Of course, that's removable. Has a bit of red paint I didn't mention. Again, this should be slid, but what are you going to do? Turning him around, now you have a bit of an arsenal back here. You have his lightsaber, which I wish was his Energon mace, but do what you do. This thing is scary because it got to kind of push it. You actually have to push it into the hand, which doesn't make me feel too good about that thumb, honestly. It really doesn't. He does have individual fingers, so, well, the bottom 3 are fused. But, yeah, he holds that pretty good. Like I said, I am not thrilled on how that pegs in. Again, I don't see any stressing there yet, but I think over time you're going to see a lot of people's Megatron broken with the thumb. I think it's going to happen. You also get small Megatron, kind of, without the stock. It's fine, you know, it's a good homage to have the gun, at least. It's not accurate, but they couldn't really make it an accurate gun. Quite frankly, instead of including this, I wish it was the little purple gun he used to kill Prime. That's kind of what I wish it was. And the last part here is an accessory in a way, but not really. It's technically parts forming, because Megatron is well known to have the barrel of the gun sticking up over the right shoulder. This is a removable part, which we'll get to for the transformation side of things. But, yeah, it's there as well. It's there. And as far as it goes, I actually want to mention the box, like I said, because the box is... That's the box he comes in. Now, keep in mind, he takes up about 30% of the box. And the only reason the box is so big is because he's in the same wave as Grimlock. Yes, the reissue of Grimlock is out as well. So, you missed him. Time to go him too, because he's also really good. Anyway, we got one last thing here for robot mode, which is, of course, the articulation, which is pretty alright. Ball joint in the head, forward and back. He does have a butterfly joint outward. Swivel at the elbow area, elbow bend, which goes a little beyond 90. Hand rotation, it is on a ball joint, but it doesn't really do much outside of that. Hands open and close, and then there is the knuckle at the lower part of the hand as well. From there, he does have a waist swivel, forward and back, outward. A knee joint that, again, goes a little beyond 90, but it's basically 90. He then has forward and back at the foot, inward tilt, and I didn't mention the thigh swivel, but everything's there accounted for. Pretty standard stuff, honestly. But yeah, I mean, for the leader price point, this robot mode kind of feels like it's a pretty good leader. In a way, like I said, it's a little odd because usually a lot of the leaders are like massive guys or they just come with a bunch of accessories. Because like I said, it doesn't fill the box, but that's fine. Like, he's still as big as the Commander Prime. That's the main thing. He's larger than the Commander Prime. But that is essentially his robot mode, so let's get into the transformation, which is pretty easy, actually. First and foremost, you're going to remove the fusion cannon, and you're going to flip down this panel, and it's just going to flip like that. You come around to the back and just remove all of his accessory components here. And then, as I mentioned, you're going to take the barrel and stick that in to the fusion cannon. Yes, parts forming. Gonna then put that off to the side and forget about it for the time being. Next, we are going to take Megatron's fingies and kind of put them into this state here. And there goes the ball joint on the hand. This is a slight issue mine has. I don't know if that's an everybody's issue or just mine. The hand ball joint loves to pop. So to start it out, after that, you're going to open up the arm, rotate around these panels, take the fist, flip it in, and then close the panels around again, but they're oriented the other way. That's essentially your big difference. You do that, close that, bada bing, bada boom. Next thing I do is rip his arm out of his socket. I don't know if this is the correct way to even do this, but I can't seem to get it to work any other way. Do that, and that will unlock the back, in which will then unlock another thing, which will then unlock this. And then we'll take the arms, and we're just going to leave them for a bit here. We're going to do them dead last. You're then going to come up to the chest, open it up like so, and that's going to move the whole thing back. Flip the head in like that. Flip that up. You're then going to flip down the chest piece. Flip down this section here. And we're going to leave that for a moment and get to the legs. So we're going to rotate them around. We're going to flip these like so. Flip up the butt flaps that were just created there. Flip the legs down, and there's the tab there, and there's a slot on the flap, which will go there. And you will then take this. Now you have to make sure that this double hinge is straight. It has to be straight. If it's not straight, it won't tab in correctly. That is what I have learned. Got to make sure that's in there like that. And then from there, I know this is looking like a lot of nothing, you're then going to come to the leg, and you're going to undo the shin. Before you do so, bend the toe, and then undo it. It's just a little bit easier that way. And then come to the back and undo this gray panel. That'll then unlock the entire leg, which then unfurls into tank treads. Take the shin here, and the shin will peg in. So there is it's kind of a hard tab to see, but there's a tab right there, and there's a slot on the shin. So you have to try to get the shin and the tab to go together, and that will lock that whole thing in place. Pretty easy, nothing too crazy. You're then going to open the front part of the treads and fold out a little bit more tread to even it out. Take the square bit from the back of the leg, fold that up to form the center of the tread. Take this, and now there's a couple tabs here. There is a slot there, a slot there. Make sure that the chest piece here, which sometimes goes flat, make sure it is out like this, because there's a peg and a slot there on that. So it's easiest to go ahead and get the back one in first, and then the front one. That's how you do it. You don't really need those front two to be in place. It's more or less just the two larger ones. You're going to take the feet now, fold them down. Make sure everything's pegged in place. Fold the feet down like so. And then from there, you're left with just the arms to contend with, which isn't that bad, honestly. You're going to take the arms and you're going to make sure that the two here, so you want it, this is how I kind of go off getting this right. So you want these two on the bottom, this one up top. Like that. That's how you want it, is like so. Because they will peg together in the middle. And then for the arms, you want to fold it so that the ports are on top. And then you got to take the cannon, bring it in, and it clips on over the back. That's why you move that panel out. And then there is some tabs that go into the cannon on the side. And then you end up with Megatron's tank mode. So, again, not a really hard transformation. Actually, a kind of interesting one. I really love the tread step. Like, the treads are really fun. I love that part of the transformation. Honestly, I just love this transformation in general. The arms were a little confusing at first, but once you figure it out, you kind of figure it out. The tank looks fine, and this is one of the big controversial things, because it's SS-86, and it's supposed to be accurate to the movie, but he turns into a tank and not a gun. We're never getting Gun Megatron again, guys. Give it up. I know we've had MPM, or not MPM, we had the Masterpiece one. I know, I'm aware, but that's a one-off case. We haven't had a gun since, unless it's a Nerf gun. We're never getting an accurate one. Could they have somehow made this guy here? Possibly. But in my opinion, and I've always said this, and this kind of goes back to this guy here for some reason, I kind of don't like inanimate object robots. I really don't. I prefer when they turn into vehicles. I like the fact that the sound wave turns into some kind of spaceship and not a cassette player. I love that. I'm like one of two people, I think. And I like that Megatron is now a tank. It makes more sense. Why would he turn into a gun? He is the leader of the Decepticons, and he is a gun. He is a literal gun. He doesn't turn into anything intimidating. He turns into a gun. A tiny little gun that often gets wielded by Starscream, who, honestly, if I'm Starscream, just throw him away. Like, what are you doing? I prefer the tank, and I like the tank. It looks good. Again, it doesn't really have a source material, you know, where this tank came from, but it's still a fun tank, and the transformation to get there is enjoyable. It looks good. The only real complaint I have about the tank is where the rotation for the turret is, which is way back there instead of right here where it should be, but that's the back panel, so they couldn't do it. There is, of course, some weapon storage, so if you do want to store the sword on the side, you can do that, or if you want to put the gun up here for extra firepower, you sure can. But, I mean, overall, it's a tank. Now, again, tanks are tanks, and I'm fine with it. I don't mind the tank. I like the tank, like I said, but, you know, it's his alt mode. What are you going to do? And, honestly, like I said, I do like this a decent amount more than if he were to turn into a gun. What am I going to do with a giant gun? Nothing. That's what. That is essentially it, though, for his alt mode. And that's really it for Megatron. So let's just get into my final thoughts here. As far as it goes, for SS-86, Megatron, probably one of the most hyped releases of the year. Hasbro has been on fire lately with stuff. They have been. Black Series has been cooking. Marvel Legends has been cooking. Like, they're cooking. They're completely cooking. Like, no matter where you look, they're cooking. Transformers is on a literal heater right now of figures. Like, the Studio Series is producing bangers. The Generations line's producing bangers. Like, they just can't miss right now. It's weird. Hasbro has not been in a flow state like this in a long time. Because there's a lot of things coming out soon that I'm like, I really want most of it. And that's a problem, because I haven't wanted most of it. I've been able to skip out on a lot of things lately. And as soon as I heard Megatron, I was like, okay, well, that's something that's 100% getting bought. And sure enough, I bought him last week because I seen that toy guy had found him at a Walmart. That's usually how I know things are coming out, because he somehow finds them at every Walmart ever. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fun. Maybe I could find them. A lot of my Walmarts were restocking, but At the same time, I said, I don't know if I'm going to just take the chance, so I spent the extra money, because CMD Store has shipping I have to pay. Not cheap shipping, it's the whole method that the more you buy, the better of a deal it kind of is. You know, like if you buy multiple things, which is often what I did with Black Series, I would never buy one Black Series from them. I would always end up buying multiple, because then the $20 shipping fee, that felt good, because it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm getting a lot of things, so that's fine. But in this case, I paid that, and yeah, I don't really care. I get them a bit early, so, oh well. And I honestly would have paid that amount for him anyway. This Megatron wholeheartedly is worth every penny of it, and I don't really care. Overall, though, I mean, considering he's replacing Siege Megatron for me, I mean, yeah, his competition wasn't too stiff, was it? And I don't even hate Siege Megatron. I'm probably one of the few people out there that, like, likes that mold a decent amount. At this point, like, that mold started getting some real hate lately. Trying to get the arms. The arms are not going how I want. But this figure, it does it. It just does it for me. I don't know, like, if they could ever improve on a Megatron after this. Again, gun form, I guess, that's the one thing that everyone's going to say about it, as, oh, he doesn't turn into a gun. He doesn't turn into a gun. But again, the chances of us getting Gun Megatron in the Chug line is, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. The last one was, what, 20 years ago? 20 years ago. The other Gun Megatron that is even 10 years ago almost is the Masterpiece one, who's like hundreds of dollars. This guy is an $80 retail figure Canadian. And like I said, worth every penny of it. I genuinely think, especially if you have the Optimus, you are not going to regret having these two. They are the two best versions that you are going to get for your money. I firmly believe it. The only nitpick I have in the entire robot mode is the cannons, like, whole thing. That's it. That's all I have wrong with it. Overall, he's a must-get. He's a 5 out of 5. It's without a doubt. This is one of the best Transformers of the year. He probably takes #1 this year, honestly, because I will do the year-end countdown, obviously. I don't see anyone dethroning him, unless Megatronus is that good, or Onyx Prime ends up being insane. I don't see anyone dethroning this guy as #1. I think he's going to be my #1 Transformer of the year. That's just how I'm seeing it right now. But essentially, that is him. That is Megatron. Go get him. If you're even vaguely interested in Transformers, you're not going to regret the pickup. It's similar to Commander Prime. Even if you are a passerby in the hobby, a passerby to Transformers, you're not going to regret buying these. These are the ultimate figures for it. I'm actually surprised they haven't reissued a leader version of him. They could get away with it. I think they could. If they did a leader version with the gun and the axe here like this, they could definitely do that. I genuinely believe they could. But make, like, the legs instead gray. Boom. Boom. I'm cooking over here for Hasbro. Hire me, Hasbro. I'm just kidding. But genuinely, two of the best figures right here that Hasbro has produced for Transformers. I firmly believe it. I believe every bit of it. I think that these are, they're damn near flawless. Both of them have some small flaws, like people might say Prime got a backpack. Like I said, the cannon on Megatron. Oh, but he turns into a tank. Take it as you will. Like I said, I like the tank mode. I'm fine with the tank mode. That's it, though. Honestly, that is completely it. That is my review of Transformers Studio Series 86 Megatron. It's been Eilt, signing out.